All right, this lesson is going to cover 4.1 climate is a long-term weather pattern, and it's going to be your textbooks, your atmosphere textbooks. And so let's go ahead and get through the agenda. So we want to establish our learning goals, get our essential questions, preview the reading and questions. Then we'll read as a class, and afterwards, answer those questions on Ed's site. Standards are very much the same as they have been for a while. It says understand the processes acting on the Earth and their interactions with Earth systems, and specifically, we're looking at factors that affect climate, like ocean currents, so the elevation, and just general location, like latitude-wise on a map. Our central questions today are going to be, how is climate related to weather? What's the connection there? And what factors affect climate? Now we're going to get into these a little bit later. A lot of the stuff that's going to be covered in this lesson is going to be just kind of straightforward notes as far as like vocabulary terms and stuff, but we'll be answering these questions within the readings. And after you get the reading done, I really want you to come back and revisit these, and we'll discuss these when I get back to class. But read these and see if you can answer them on your own. So table of contents, you should be doing that as it was, and this is going to be the note setup. You can see we have room for both central questions here, and then I just kind of broke down the different definitions and just kind of gave them some areas. So just kind of space them out. Maybe you might be able to fit them on one page and get that written down. But it's going to take a couple minutes for you to write this down, so pausing the video at this moment and for a couple minutes until everybody has it down would probably be a good idea. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the vocabulary right now. At this moment, you can stop, obviously, and read the text, which I'd like you to do, and then we'll probably come back together maybe when I get back, or if you have Pride Hour today, and you can go through the notes as far as the vocabulary terms. But I'm going to go ahead and proceed now with vocabulary terms. But otherwise, if you have not read the text yet, go ahead and pause, read the text, and take the rest of the period to answer those EdSite questions. And if there is a ton of time left at the end, I don't believe there will be, but if there is, then maybe you can kind of move on with these vocabulary terms. All right, so we have climate. And climate is a characteristic weather conditions in a place over a long period of time. And this is kind of just a GIF of the U.S., but it kind of gives you an idea of like general weather patterns. It's colder up top, it's warmer on the bottom in the southern latitudes in the States. Now, I'm not going to say this every time, but as you're moving through these, if you can just pause the video for maybe a minute or two, just so each person has an opportunity to write this down, and then we'll move forward. All right, let's go to the next one. We have latitude. It's the distance in degrees north and south of the equator. So there's a bunch of latitude bars, and these are the ones that go across the globe. And the best way I remember latitude, and I can tell you to remember latitude, is think of it as rungs on a ladder. You can kind of climb up. And latitude, ladder. Well, latitude, the rungs are things you can climb on. If it's longitude, it's north-south. And it's running from the top to bottom in lines, and that's not something you can climb up to. So latitude is always the ones that go sideways on the globe. And we have marine climates, and these occur near the ocean and usually on the west coast of continents. Now, marine climates, just so you know, they tend to only affect an area that's close to the actual, that cold, ocean area, the warm water ocean area. If you go further inland, once you get some distance from the water, the climate kind of reverts back to that continental climate of whatever it would be for that region. But a marine climate can be greatly affected by the temperature of the water. I mean, look at San Diego and San Francisco and some coastal areas in California. You go there and it's like a whole different place. It's 70 degrees and sunny and perfect all the time. Whereas if you kind of come in just a couple hundred miles from there, you're talking scorching desert. And that scorching desert just doesn't change. It's always that way. So that the impact of a marine climate, it has a buffer area. Now, I'm not going to give you, say, 50 miles or 10 miles, but it is an area that's affected, and it's not that, it doesn't go that deep, but it is very much in proximity to the water. then we have continental climates. And these occur in the interior of continents. Now, this is where the patterns they vary from different types of continental climates. There's not a solid continental climate you can always have. Some areas are very arid, some can be Arctic, some can be, very seasonal and change of season. Some actually can be fairly stable, but they do not have the same stability and consistency as you'd see in a marine climate, where you can go to San Diego or San Francisco, and the seasonal swing in degrees is 20 or so degrees, 30 degrees or whatnot, where if you go into like continental climate areas, like say the Midwest, or parts of Arizona or other places, you can see seasonal extreme swings of over 100 degrees. And you never get that in a marine climate area because the water makes it very consistent. But in continental climate areas, you see these massive swings in temperatures quite often. And sometimes the swings happen just from day to night cycling, from the cooling in the night to the morning to the daytime. And in Phoenix, you've probably experienced that in the sense where, in the morning time, you can get down to the 60s, but then during the daytime, it can swing up to 120. So you can get massive swings daily or seasonally with continental climates that do not happen with marine climates. Here we have ocean currents, and they're streams of water that flow through the ocean in regular patterns. Now these streams, they're very large. They're not small. And and if you can see in the picture that I have up, this is how the water moves around the planet. And I can't tell you how important this is for the stability of the global climate. If anything were to interrupt this movement of water, you'd see drastic changes. Follow my cursor here. This right here is Britain, and we have basically Europe and the Netherlands right here. This whole area, if you look at the latitude, it goes straight across. It's actually at the latitude of like Canada, but it's very temperate. It's very mild for this high up in latitude. And the reason being is this warm water current that kind of comes up and there's one over here from the Gulf Stream comes over, and then there's a larger one here. It's globally, and it warms this area. And if you were to cut this off, this whole area would go into Arctic. It would just turn Arctic. It'd be crazy cold. And so what these ocean currents do is they regulate the temperature of our planet by moving around this warm water and moving the cool water away and warming it back up. So it balances everything out. It's kind of like the world's AC and heating and furnace. And again, if you were to eliminate this, the world's temperatures would just go, it'd be crazy. You'd find it extremely Arctic up north. At the equatorial regions, you'd find it extremely scorching hot. And then there'd only be very small bands of areas where, the weather would be nice. It just would not be the same planet at all. So ocean currents, super, super important for stabilizing, our overall climate of the planet. And that's it. When I come back, what I like to do is I'm going to tackle these essential questions just so that we can kind of get a better idea. But in your reading, you should have an idea of those factors that affect climate. We can just talk about it right now a little bit. Obviously ocean currents, we just talked about it, is a huge factor that affects climate. That would be one of them. And how is climate related to weather? I think I'm going to hold off on that one, and we'll hit that one when I get back. Look forward to seeing you guys back in the classroom, and take care. Bye.
Hey, Daddy.